Texting behind the wheel. It can wait. Sounds familiar? It should. It's an AT&T slogan that I've kind of borrowed, but I stand behind it, and I'm going to show you in my research proposal why technology is a solution to stop texting and driving. Technology is at the forefront of everything we do, like having a casual conversation with somebody who is miles away from us, to the way we play games with someone, eat, sleep. We even get our news differently because of technology. And this will show you that if we can do all those things, then maybe, perhaps maybe, we can stop texting and driving. My story is about how laws and statistics have not stopped people from texting and driving, but instead encouraged them more. It will also show the effects it has on families. I will show why technology is needed to prevent these deadly accidents. The Virginia Tech Transportation Institute recently did a study, and it showed that drivers who text behind the wheel were 23 more times likely to be involved in a serious crash. So that just goes to show you why this story is so important to tell. This may be a concern to the general public because you or I could easily die from somebody texting behind the wheel. And I just think it's important to show you the effects of it and why more needs to be done. This line graph just illustrates the point I just made previously, that cell phone use and fatal car crashes go hand in hand. As you can see, the red line is the percentage of people owning cell phones that cause fatal crashes, while the blue line is just fatal car crashes, and it's from 94 to 2008, and it shows a upgrowing trend. 80% of some people were using a cell phone in a capacity where it caused a fatal crash. This is just an infographic to further advance my argument that more needs to be done from a technological standpoint to stop texting and driving. Here you can just see that, as I said, 23 more times more likely people who text message behind the wheel will crash. But it goes a little deeper. It says that reaching for the device 1.4 times more the risk of being in a crash. And if you're talking and listening, it is only 1.3 times the risk. But if you're actually dialing like you're texting, it's 2.8 times the risk of crashing. So stop texting and driving. The more we tell the stories and give the statistics, it continues to have a direct impact on the roads being safe. No one will stop distracted driving. For example, a team from Idaho just this year totaled 2 cars, all because of texting and driving. So there's no time like the present to increase awareness, to try to stop it through technology, because somebody on the road is 23 times more likely to be involved in a serious crash as a result of texting and driving. Most stories focused on banning texting and driving, the apps that are available to stop it, and statistics. But I'm going to focus more on how automakers and technology and the solution that can be brought from a broadband of telecommunication industry folks in accordance with automakers and lawmakers can all band together to help create something, a device that will stop someone from texting and driving behind the wheel. My target audience is pretty easy: drivers and non-drivers between the ages of 16 and up, because they have the capability of having a cell phone and being in a car with someone who is of driver age that can text behind the wheel. And it's also to target the telecommunications industry, for them to design something more applicable that can stop texting and driving. This slide is just to quickly give you an example of how the telecommunications industry came up with these apps to prevent texting and driving. Just a quick example: there's only one that's free, and that's the AT&T Drive mode, and it lets you be in drive mode like airplane mode. But if you only have one free, people are less likely to use it. So if they have the capability of coming up with something of this magnitude, they also have the capability of doing other things other than pressing a button on your phone that says, hey, let me stop texting and driving, but something more in a car that a driver would be more apt to do, more apt to press, more apt to say, hey, let's not text and drive, or that the car just automatically shuts off itself. These are just a couple of different perspectives. Both of them are similar, but just in a different way. The perspective from Jim shows that people who become addicted and bans won't necessarily stop texting and banding. In fact, statistics show that those states who have bans, more crashes and accidents happen. Whereas Edward Tenner shows that in his book that there's unintended consequences for technology. So if you have an app that says, hey, let's curb texting and banding and let's stop and put it in drive mode, then people won't actually do that. It'll divert from what it's actually supposed to do. Here are my two subject matter experts. One's a neuroscientist. She can show how the brain can't complete two tasks at once, such as texting and driving. And the other is a PIO of the Tennessee Department of Public Safety. She'll provide statistics. Some of the visuals I'll use is a personal story, photos, background information, along with charts and graphs to illustrate the difference in years when smartphone and technology actually took over for texting and driving, and the increase in crashes. And in the end, I will be able to share that same story and how they feel about why more needs to be done beyond legislation, beyond apps, in curbing texting and driving. With promotion, I want to be able to reach a target audience of everyone. Facebook has 133 million active users. The more people I get to on Facebook, the potential it has to reach half, or at least, you never know, 1 million users. I'm going to use Flickr for photos. I'm going to use YouTube to post the link to be able to post it on Facebook. And of course, I'm going to use my website to utilize all these things to promote my story and my research of how there's more to be done in the texting and driving campaign. In the end, a problem born from technology requires technological solutions. And what I mean by that is, if they create the technology, they have to help solve whatever happens as a consequence of it. Texting and driving is one of them. We need to make our roads safer. Technology is the solution.